It is Memorial Day morning and I am out here harvesting my ranunculus, and that is what I'm going to show you today. It has been very cold here. My sides are just going up on my hoop house, and it's kind of interestingly foggy in the hoop house right now. It's kind of foggy out right now, but it did get down into the 30s, 39. It's gotten into the 30s the last like 5 nights, I think. We had patchy frost 2 mornings. So it's been a really cold spring for us, or at least the last week has been cold. We've had some days in the 80s also, of course, right? But today I'm going to be talking about ranunculus, and I'm going to show you how I harvest it. I have like epic mega orders for ranunculus this week. And I was talking with some of my florists, and they were saying, oh yeah, the first week of June, which it won't be June until Sunday, right? But it's sort of acting that way because it's the week after Memorial Day. That first week of June is always like one of the biggest wedding weeks of the year. And I have just never had very many flowers this week because I've never had a hoop house before. And I was just talking to my husband and saying, if I did not have a hoop house, I would hardly have any flowers. Our peonies I picked 6 coral charm peonies yesterday. Like, we don't even have peonies yet because it's been so cold. We've had highs of like 50, and it's not just cold, it's been cloudy and windy, and peonies just don't like to open in that kind of weather. So we're going to be harvesting ranunculus here, and I'm just going to briefly talk about how I grew them, like really briefly. So these were planted in the end of December, and then the second succession was done in the end of January. I think I maybe got them out here at the beginning of February. And if you want to know a little bit more about that, I do talk about that in a previous video where I talk about like spring crops. So that's when they were planted out here. They were pre-sprouted and planted, and then they were under low tunnels all winter and covered and uncovered and protected in here, and they did great. The only real loss I had was right at the beginning of the tunnel here. It gets kind of wet here, and so they didn't do the best right in the front here, so note for next year. But they didn't start blooming until the week of Mother's Day. I sold 17 blooms, so it really was the week after Mother's Day. And they say you get about 4 weeks per succession, given that you don't have really hot temperatures, which we have not really had. So this first succession is blooming still, and then my second succession is also blooming. So right now I'm having overlapping successions. I did have an issue with thrips in my white ranunculus, and I caught it quite early, and I ordered a whole bunch of beneficials and found some praying mantis egg sacs around my farm and put them in here, and I'll put in footage, but I definitely had praying mantises hatching in here, and I can tell the beneficials have been at work, and my thrips seem to be really in control right now. But that's kind of why all these white flowers are sort of bloomed out, because they had thrips, and then I put the beneficials like in them, and so I didn't want to harvest them. But then this next succession of white looks pretty good, so I am harvesting off of them now. So I kind of thought the white was going to be almost like a total loss, but it has not been. I lost a bit of them, but it's gone really well. So I have salmon, pink, and a few orange and giallo, which is yellow. So we're gonna see how many bunches I can get here today, because I have orders for a lot. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make the orders. The one person I'm selling to is actually my sister, who has a roadside stand, and she would like, if I have it, 20 bunches at the end of the week. So that is helpful because most of my orders are for Tuesday and Wednesday, but so that if I'm able to get that many, I would be selling over 900 ranunculus this week. I already have several hundred in my cooler right now, and so we're going to see what we can get today. It's Monday morning, and I've got a lot besides the ranunculus to harvest. I'm going to be harvesting this saponaria. I have foxglove and delphinium, and that's pretty much all that's in the tunnel, Orlea, and then I've got a few things in the field to get as well. So I am just going to get right to it and show you how I harvest them. You didn't mention I am in Michigan, zone 6A. We are heavily affected by Lake Michigan. We're about 30 minutes from the lake, and that significantly affects our weather. Okay, so to harvest, the first thing I do is put on my trusty Atlas nitrile gloves, and then I always take rubber bands and put them around my right wrist Not too many, but enough. I always wear gloves because it gives you a better grip, which just helps you work like that, like 1% less, which over bunches and bunches saves you a lot of time. I also have my snips here, which I keep in a holster, just like a Felco. I've had this a long time. This thing is weathered. And it just has a clip, so I can clip it, it doesn't go over a belt, so I can hook it onto anything. And then these are ARS old. They've lost their, I don't know, thing to keep it together. Good morning. Since it's the high tunnel and I don't want any extra plant debris in the high tunnel, I take it all out and compost it. If I'm in the field, I strip in the field and I never worry about it. But in the tunnel, I have a 5-gallon bucket with me. So here is some ranunculus. These are some pink ones, and I'm going to just show you how I harvest them. So you want to harvest them. If you harvest them in like the true tight marshmallow stage like this, like you could harvest this, but let me show you. Like this. You can harvest this. Hi. How are you? Huh? Okay. Let's get back to this. Like this. You can harvest this, but if you let it open and close a couple of days and harvest it more, like it's still like because it's morning time, but this is a softer marshmallow, and like this one, and even this one maybe could go another day. But from what I've read and been experimenting with this season, if you wait until they're more like these instead of like this, you will get a bigger flower. Like the ranunculus will open bigger. And I have definitely seen that to be true. Then when I cut, I come down here and I cut all the way at the bottom. So I'm cutting this one. And then ranunculus don't need a lot of stripping. They don't have a lot of lower leaves. So that's nice. And then, see, this one's too far gone, obviously. And then I'm gonna cut this one all the way at the bottom. Then I'm gonna line up my blooms. So I'm not looking at my bottom stem length. I'm lining up my blooms. So then I find my next one that I wanna harvest here. So now I have 3, 4. This one's really nice. 5. Here. 6. 7. 8. So when I do it, I grab the top gently, like I'm holding the top between my 2 fingers, and then with my left hand, and then I'm going to cut with my right. This is 8. Again, lining up the blooms. So I'm holding it so I can feel the tension, so I know where I'm going to cut at the bottom of the canopy here. Like I can feel this is the bloom I'm cutting. It's kind of like you have to do it by feel. I don't know how to else explain it. And then I know, okay, that's the one I'm grabbing. So then I have 10. So I'm trying to get the longest stem length possible, obviously. Now, see, I left my bucket down there, but typically I would cut these the same length and then rubber band them. I'm gonna get my bucket. So I try to just like take this with me along the route. So now I'm gonna cut these so they're the same stem length. There's one that's a little bit lower. It's because I'm trying to squeeze every stem out of here, but pretty much the blooms are all at the same height. Then I'm gonna take a rubber band, and then I usually put it around several stems unless it's something really strong like a sunflower. Wrap it around and then go back around 1 or 2 stems, And then for ranunculus, they do not travel the best, as in they break their necks. So I take a second rubber band without, like, just completely whole. I don't twist it or make it half the size. And I put that rubber band close to the necks. And I've definitely found that this helps protect them in transport and keeps them from tangling into the other bunches in the bucket. It's made a big difference. So I would highly recommend that, because I kept breaking them. And then I really didn't strip these, and I really won't. Like, these leaves are fine. The florist can strip them if they want, and then keeps me from going faster. So I'm gonna just harvest some here and go from there. So one trick I heard, which I have found to be true, is that to get them at the right stage, because they're closed right now, it's morning time, which is when you want to harvest them so they don't bruise. But one other trick is that, trying to determine how many times that bud is opened is if you feel it inside isn't hard like a marble, it's soft, like kind of a true soft marshmallow all the way through. So that is kind of been a helpful trick for me. So if you're trying to determine that stage, that can be a helpful indicator for my cat is over there for helping you determine what the stage is. So then I do that, and just a little bit of like how I harvest. Every time that I bunch, I reholster my clippers. It's just how I work. Some people put them in their mouth. I never put things in my mouth. I don't like that. So I always put it back in my holster. So I'm gonna get I need a lot more pink. I'm doing pretty good in the salmon department, but I have a lot of orders for pink. So I'm hoping to crank every single stem out of here, and I will probably be in here harvesting tonight just to get a few more bunches as much as possible. All right. I also don't go back to my water bucket every time. It's at the beginning of the tunnel there. And just because the ground is kind of muddy right here, my rose, our cat is crazy right now. I'm putting them on top of my bucket here. I don't know if you can see this. But I'm just setting them on top of this bucket. I normally never do this because I never even have a bucket with me, but I'm able to pile 5 bunches on there, or maybe 6, and then I take that and put it in the bucket. Okay, so now I have 5 bunches here. I'm gonna go put them in my water and probably put you at the front of the tunnel and keep going. like to thank my husband for the original audio in this um, video here. My husband composed that for me. But here we go. So I'm continuing to harvest ranunculus. And as I'm harvesting ranunculus, I'm always trying to think about efficiency and how to do things the best. My colors got a little bit mixed up, so it would be more efficient if some of my colors were more together. But I have like a little bit of orange here and then more orange down there. So it could be set up a little better, but I'm always trying to think about efficiency and how to do things the fastest and the quickest. And then I was just going to, in general, talk about the overall ranunculus season, and I've actually my ranunculus season is pretty much over. This has taken me a long time to edit, and it is now the 14th of June, and yesterday I went out in my tunnel and picked for myself one little bunch of ranunculus that's left. So it's now over now that it's the 14th of June, and I had a really phenomenal ranunculus season and better than I ever anticipated. And I actually really want to do a video all about like my numbers as far as how many I ordered, how many I harvested, what I sold them for, and the profitability of it, how much tunnel space they took up, and all that. So be on the lookout for that. That might take me a little while, it'll just sort of be a recap, but this ranunculus really exceeded my expectations. I just kept harvesting and harvesting and harvesting out of these 2.5 rows. My tunnel's 72 feet long, so, and it just kept giving and giving and giving, and I would think I'm not going to have any, and then one week I sold 1,500 in one week, which is absolutely amazing, and I got some really awesome pictures, also of just the bunches and bunches of ranunculus. The white did get some thrips, but other than that, it was amazing and phenomenal. And so we were trying to get some footage, and I'm really looking forward to growing them again next year. So that's all I have for today. I encourage you to check out this video all about peonies and harvesting peonies and peony storage next. If you enjoyed this, see you next time. Bye.